FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
The other topic that is continuing to engulf the country, of course, gun control mania. We shared with you the other day the story of the little girl, 5-year-old little girl who was suspended simply because she told her friend at the bus stop she was going to get them with her bubble shooting pink Hello Kitty gun. And it was classified as a terroristic threat. This overreaction, all of it stemming from such a limited base of knowledge on firearms. It is really ignorance fueling this discussion. And so we were talking here, during production meetings. We wanted to talk to people who are experts in firearms, people who, they've grown up with them, they shoot regularly, they sell firearms, however you want to put it. And because it seems that the people that we hear from the most, the talking heads, the pundits on various news channels, including even some of the conservative ones, they just don't seem to quite exactly know what they're talking about. Well, one of my favorite shows, of course, is Top Shot. And joining me right now on the phone, and everybody's geeking out here, Dustin Ellermann, of course, you remember him from Season 3. He was the Season 3 Top Shot. Dustin, good afternoon to you.
Hey, Dana. Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's great to talk with you. Thanks so much for joining me. And I have to ask you, whenever you hear these terms like assault weapon and assault rifle, and folks saying that somehow they use terms like military style and try to, I guess, just judge guns based upon appearance and not what they actually can do, what is your perspective on the way this entire conversation has been framed on the Second Amendment here in this country?
I tell you, the ignorance just infuriates me. And then, when you're watching just the media and hear all the just made-up phrases coined to pull at your emotions and make you hate an inanimate object and think of it as evil, it's just very frustrating. And we're trying to fight all those lies and propaganda with the truth, and it's difficult to do.
It is very difficult to do. And there's this misconception that somehow individuals, regular old, Janes and Joes, can just walk into a shop and purchase a fully automatic, military issue rifle, which, you and I both know, and a lot of our listening audience here knows that that's not the case. But it's this complete ignorance that's driving this conversation. That kind of frightens me because, we had the assault weapons ban back in '94, and that ended up in massive Democrat loss. And I feel like we're down that same path again. But this isn't doing actually anything to really raise awareness for the Second Amendment. It's just fear-mongering from how I see it. Do you see this as a huge negative in terms of teaching people about firearms?
Oh, yes. I mean, and a lot of it does come, like you said, from the media and everything else, just the fear-mongering drivenness of, let's be afraid of guns and, they're going to jump off tables and shoot us by themselves. And it's just, it's insane. And
I have to ask you, in all of your years of shooting and owning firearms, have you ever, with your own eyes, witnessed a firearm hop up off a table and operate itself?
Of course not, no.
I mean, I know you've done some pretty amazing things on Top Shot, and I'm just wondering if that was one of the things, maybe that was, B-roll footage or something like that they just didn't show.
Yeah, we stood around the table and stared at it until it went off.
Waited till it goes. Let me ask you this then. If you add things like a detachable magazine or a flash suppressor or a pistol grip or these, accessories onto a rifle, does that make that rifle deadlier?
Yeah, deadlier. That's just a funny phrase because, dead is dead. And right. They talk about, more fatal and all those just weird phrases they want to make up. But no, if anything, the guns that they're trying to ban now, like the AR-15, it's a .223, which a lot of folks really don't like because it's considered a varmint round.
Right.
Not any bigger than most folks want to use on coyotes, and a lot of people debate it even for deer hunting, is that it's not powerful enough. And, when we first introduced the M16, not the AR-15, but to the military, that was designed around the .223 cartridge, 5.56, a lot of other technical terms go there, though. The troops hated it because they're like, we're giving up our 30 caliber 308 and 30-06 for this 22. And it's like, what gives? And so most of the premises of the politicians and anti-gun crowd is because it looks scary. And that's, misinformed decision there.
And really, you know, the AR-15 is, if you know, as a woman, my husband has several rifles, and a lot of them, I mean, the recoil just about, I'm a $125, so the recoil on that knocks me back to the wall when we're at the range, and that it's a very easy rifle to handle. And to use, you know, it's especially, you know, if you're kind of a smaller framed individual, and I think maybe perhaps that's why they're so popular.
Oh, absolutely. AR-15 is a great platform to work with, and even like you said, for smaller frame people, or even, God forbid, I teach my kids on an AR-15 platform. And 22 caliber. You know, the collapsible stock makes it great for that.
Yep.
The pistol grip doesn't make it fire faster or easier to control. It just keeps you, it lets you handle it in the first place and let it fit you better.
Right.
And so that, you know, it makes it look scary, which in my opinion makes it look cool.
Right. I mean, well, and the thing is my father-in-law got my 8-year-old his first BB gun, and it's styled, it's military style, I guess you could say. You know, it's one of those scary looking pellet guns. And I put a photo of one of our AR-15s online right next to this pellet gun, and those on the left who are very against, I think wholly against the Second Amendment, and don't know the difference. They just thought we just had this huge weapons cache and we were just so irresponsible and we just gave our baby a machine gun.
Exactly. And it's insane. And here's the funny thing. I was over at SHOT Show this week, and one of the firearms manufacturers just introduced a muzzle-loading AR-15. And so it actually, you know, the uppers and lowers, they're all interchangeable, and they made a muzzle-loader AR-15 upper just because it's ergonomically correct and people like to use it. And but boy, that muzzle-loading AR that you can't tell by looking at it, that's going to drive the anti-gun crowd nuts.
Well, and it really, the assault weapons ban didn't really do anything to curb crime. It didn't really. I mean, you had the Columbine massacre took place a couple of years after the assault weapons ban. What was it? 4 years after the assault weapons ban went into effect. And it's still the rifle. It didn't ban the rifle itself. It banned all of the cosmetic accessories that I had asked you about, which doesn't accomplish anything. And it seems as though we have lawmakers that are missing the entire point. I'm mystified that they focus on the implement rather than the actual cause, which I honestly think comes from people not being taught right at the start of everything in the home, a respect for life and a healthy knowledge and respect for firearms.
I couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, we don't want to give people the wrong idea that the first weapons ban didn't do anything, so they just need to get more strict, which is what they're trying to do. But even if you ban all semi-automatic, or heck, if you ban all guns in the first place, the criminals will just guarantee that they have them, the good guys don't, and then things will go really bad for the rest of us.
Right, exactly. And I know that you were very much against the New York, the new regulations on firearms, especially, what is it, the 7-round capability. They want to limit the number of, to me, it seems as though even if you can only get, small quantity magazines, people can just buy multiples, and it takes like a second, perhaps 2 seconds. It takes a second to change it out, and it really doesn't stop anything if that's their goal. What do you make of this whole magazine argument?
Well, it's all just a huge slippery slope. And we've already witnessed that already from, all of a sudden the magic number was 10. Anything above 10 is just high capacity.
Yes.
And, my response to the high capacity thing is it's only high for those who have difficulty counting that high. And so those folks trying to ban it, 11 is just too big a number for them. And we're seeing the slippery slope of that magic number just dwindling down to the main goal, and that's 0. No one gets to have any guns for anything, and so we've already decreased the number to 7 to make criminals out of the citizens, while the criminals continue to stay well armed and be criminals with their high-capacity magazines, and things are going bad right now.
Yeah, I'm watching this media narrative kind of spiral out of control, and the only question that they can cling to is, well, why does, and I was asked this recently by a colleague of mine, well, why do you need more than 30 rounds? Why would you need that for anything? And I found it kind of interesting because my perspective is sort of, well, it's not so much a need as it's a right. How do you respond to questions like that?
Well, I think Masad Ayub said it the best. He is a firearms trainer and firearms expert, written lots of books and such, and he answered that question that the police have found that the best thing to protect themselves and others with is a .223 rifle with a 30-round magazine and high-capacity pistol. So if that's the best thing for them, why is that not the best thing for us? You know, these folks that are saying this, they've never been in a gunfight. They don't know how that works. And it's not like you're trying to be out there with unlimited ammo. You're just trying to have what you can on your person and in your firearm to protect you and yourself. And who are they to limit and put a magic number on what's too much for self-defense?
Absolutely. Dustin Ellermann, Season 3 Top Shot. It's been described as the best shooter we had, by the way. You can find him at DustinEllermann.com. Thank you so much for doing what you do, both with your faith and with the Second Amendment. We're huge fans here of the show and of you, and just keep on doing it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Dana. Thank you.
Take care.